My name is Phil, and I'm the Games Master for the Copper Wars. This is Season 1, Episode 5. And I will introduce people and my cast. So I will start with Ikbo.
Hello, I am Ikor von Kirby. I am playing a kobold rogue whose background is in smuggling.
Thank you, Ikbo. And next is Song of the River.
Hi, I'm Alyce, and I play Song of the River, the Tabaxi Druid, and kind of eco-warrior hippie.
Cool, thank you. Rosa, welcome back.
Hello, I'm Carmon, and I play Rosa, a human druid scientist person.
That's a very interesting description, thank you. Next we'll go to Wookie.
Hi, I'm Sheena. I play Wookie, also known, full name is Alani Wukashevich Van Loch, and she is a dwarf trickster druid for Loki.
Thank you very much. And finally, we've given nearly 2 weeks now for Carswell to get his introduction right. Carswell!
Best of luck.
G'day, I'm Jezza. I'm playing Carswell Thorn, human fighter. Didn't say a whole lot last time because I had gunpowder exploded in my face, but I have solved that problem. I tend to be quite quiet and reserved and sort of stand in the background observing. If there's money involved, I will say something.
Fantastic, and presumably now you're hideously disfigured, so I'll bring that into the gameplay. Just adjusting my camera angle there. Thank you, everyone. We have 2 absentees today. One is Timber, our Wolfkin, and Sarena will be back next week to play Timber. And we are sadly lacking in Roganus. Anais, unfortunately, can't be with us tonight, but again, should be with us next week. So those players will be sadly missed, but will be the surviving members of the party by the end of tonight. So I believe I'm just going to do a general recap from episode 4. Those of you who are here entered the warehouse looking to rescue the suit. You found the suit, or that's Professor Langstrom's suit, and it was in the possession of Rostov, the Wolfkin. He was gladly going to trade you the suit for the small metal cylinder, which stays remarkably warm. In your infinite wisdom and cunningness, you've decided to pass off a fake to him, and you made off with the suit, and you've also got the real and genuine metal cylinder with you. You've returned everything to Professor Langstrom, and he sent you on part 2 of the mission, also known as part B. And that is to take the suit to the town of Running Horse, where you are to find the mortal remains of Henry James McCoy, presumably the real McCoy. Just thought I'd have to do that. And thereby tempt apparently his spirit into said suit. Now, to do that, you've got to travel. And last we left the group, you were gathered in the White Hart Tavern discussing the next step of your adventure, which is to take a steam locomotive ride all the way to Jamestown, and then you're going to hoik it across the countryside to Running Horse, as there is no railroad to Running Horse at the moment. So we join everyone in the White Hart Tavern. Train leaves at 9 p.m. and I think we left it kind of like 6 p.m.-ish, I think. Sound fair?
Yep. Having some dinner, got my cheese board.
You have indeed.
You got some charcoal.
Yeah. And presumably, Rosa and Carswell, you can now join the gang. You've had messages sent to you.
Yeah, I rock up.
Rosa Carswell, would you like a toasted cheese sandwich? Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Mm.
It seems to be oddly cut, though.
Yeah.
It's fine.
So there's charcoal, there's fresh bread, and
melted cheese and
rolled in ash.
For those who
I
may
just see all this food all over the table. There's just cheese everywhere, and it's just.
For those who missed out on the experience last week, it was decided that a good thing to do with a raw cheese sandwich is to place a knife on it, I believe, and then use the heat metal spell, which created a small fire in the middle of the sandwich, and the rest of it is raw. Luckily, you didn't burn through the entire table, And I've got a feeling, did somebody take heat damage or something for holding the...
No, we
No one touched the knife.
Yeah. So this is the kind of the shenanigans and japery that my game engage in. Okay, yeah, so you're there. The gang is together. You've had a message passed on to you by a bellboy saying that Anais has unfortunately been called away. She took herself off about 5 minutes ago, and the bellboy said, unfortunately, she's in a meeting and she won't be able to join you on the train, but we'll hopefully catch up later. And you're aware that Timber is still busy in his workshop doing his paid employment. So he would have also got the same message about the train journey, and presumably, if he's able to, will catch a later train. Okay, guys, what are you going to do? Let's play D&D.
I cast Fireball.
Cool, I have a dice ready.
What's so pretty? Well, if everyone's prepared, perhaps we should, well, I'm going to stop by at Poe's Antiques and let Mr. Poe know I'll be out of town for a few days.
Yep, that seems reasonable.
And meet up later at the train station.
Pass on my regards.
Will do, though.
I'm going to be attempting to upgrade my ticket to get a private room carriage space thing.
Well, you can do that once you arrive at the station.
Take Anis's carriage.
Yeah, exactly. I'll just take her ticket.
Oh, before I leave, Rosa, your share, and Carswell, your share, and I give you your 500 marks each.
Oh, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, bye.
I've got a room upstairs. I'm going to wander upstairs to repack my bags and organise myself.
Okay.
I, with no sense of grace, am eating my, what was it?
Tail soup.
Pig. No, it was
that's
head. Pig head?
Yeah,
Soup,
boiled
ox head soup.
Oh yeah, calf's head. Sorry. Yep.
Hear my fire alarm going off, so I will be back in a second.
Oh, what fire alarm is that?
In-game, Rosa's fire alarm is going off.
It was that toasted sandwich.
It would be the burnt toasted sandwich. And obviously Rosa will join us again, presumably as long as her house doesn't burn down. That's okay.
It's helpful.
Yeah. So, okay, so you've all eaten. Do you guys want to do anything else before you depart the tavern for the station?
No, I already went shopping. The fighter hasn't had the opportunity to shop. Is there anything you want to pick up?
No, he has. He's had an opportunity. The shops are already closed now anyway, so hopefully.
Yep. No, I've organised myself. I'm good. Thank you.
Yep. Carswell believed he needed to buy a healing potion. I have no idea why he would think such a thing.
Yeah.
We have a cleric.
Tricky.
I know, right? Oh yeah, we do. Not a traditional cleric though, so who knows? You know, you might get healed. You might have.
Who knows how helpful I can be, especially after using some spells already.
Well, given the last time we were in a battle, I was the one who took the most amount of damage. While it wasn't great, it was still damage.
Yeah, Ikbor's just going to point out that is your job.
Yes, and I'm certainly not complaining of such thing.
Yeah, I believe you've been shot. No, it wasn't shot, was it?
Lightning.
Yeah, you were struck by lightning, and you also had a frying pan to the face.
Yes, thank you.
That was one of my highlights of episode 3, I believe.
Well done,
Yes, that was unexpected.
Yeah, so you guys are happy to walk to the station?
Yep.
It's only a 5-10 minute walk.
Yeah.
So all of you, including Rosa and Gregor, of course, I really should actually just ignore me while I just change my name, because I just realised I've got my stupid other name. So I'm going to be, there we go. You see this in real life. So
I did try and tell you in the low key chat, but you didn't read it.
I just ignored that. I just ignored most of the things you said. There we go. And Gregor the bear. There we go. Remember the future meeting.
House is intact.
Hooray.
Awesome. That's good news. So nobody else is doing anything in the tavern. You're all walking across to the station, which is a 5-10 minute walk, and you get there. So the station is a large, it's a rather magnificent building. It's very, I suppose, cathedral-like in its sense of grandeur. It's made of sandstone and marble. You walk in, the floor is polished stone. and there's beautiful archways everywhere and statues. It's a building of great import for Liberty City, as a lot of people arrive there from the west and from the north, and presumably from the south. So you go in there. It's quite busy. Obviously, there is at least one train leaving in the next hour or two, and you're basically in a main concourse. There's lots of people milling around. You also notice there's a few soldiers. So they're Edisonian, wearing soldiers' uniforms, which is a navy blue with gold insignia. Single-breasted, but most of them are wearing sort of like greatcoats as well, and shoulder rifles on their back. But you do see there's a ticket office as well, and there's an archway that goes through to the platforms. There's 4 platforms at the station. So yeah, there are other sort of like vendors there, but most of them are closed, but not all of them. So
And how long till the train departs?
Let's say an hour. So let's make it 8 o'clock now.
Easy. We'll just hail down
Rosa's
everybody.
going to go and have a bit of a chat to the guards to get some news of her home country and latest gossip, all of that nonsense.
Okay, we'll come to you in just a moment. Just before I go on, Song, you bought the most recent newspaper, the
I
Liberty
did.
Lumen. Do you wish to discuss or disseminate any information with your colleagues?
I was going to wait for the train ride.
That's fine, and I will come back to that. Rosa, you walk up to some of the soldiers. They appear a bit cash at the moment. A couple of them are smoking cigarettes, but they see you come over and they kind of stomp out the cigarette and look a bit more professional about it.
No need for that. I was just here to see what's going on back home.
Okay, well, you are home. What home are you talking about?
You said they're Edisonians, yeah?
Yes, that's right.
Where are we?
We're in Edisonia.
We're in the capital of California, but we'll keep going because it just makes you appear that you've got kind of like some sort of mental health issues.
Yeah. More true than you know.
Yeah. As far as I know, we're holding the station that hasn't tried to be invaded yet, madam.
I realised my mistake. Kind of nod at them and I, good job. Keep up the good work.
Yep, they kind of just nod at you, and one of them now instantly regrets stopping at the cigarette so swiftly for such a small conversation. But
It just laughs.
Yeah, he just kind of sparks up another one and then continues his conversation with his friend.
Are there any benches, like seating here?
There's some nice benches. It's a concourse, so there's areas for benches as well.
Okay, so I find a bench where there isn't a whole pile of people sitting and stretch myself out on it and take a nap, seeing as we've got an hour and I'm full of food.
I note that and we'll try and wake her before we are to depart.
Okay.
I'm gonna sit by Wookie.
Okay. So as you're in the concourse and waiting as the minutes tick past, more and more people enter the station, presumably for the same locomotive that you're waiting for. So you're getting to the point where there's, I suppose, about 50 people in the concourse, and there's men, there's women, there's children, there's humans, there's dwarves, there's elves, there's tabaxi, there's wolfkin. It's the whole wide range within.
There a partridge, perhaps, maybe a pear tree.
You probably have to look outside in the gardens for that.
I'm going to go look for a partridge and a pear tree.
Or 5 cauldrons.
Okay, so you're going to go outside and have a look?
Yep.
Yep. Okay, so roll me an investigation then, because you're being very specific about what you're looking for.
Looking for a partridge and or a pear tree. That is a 22.
22. So you find there is a pear tree. You can see it. It's about 3 or 4 meters away. It's quite a tall pear tree, and there appears to be a figure sat within.
A figure? What does the figure look like?
You'd have to have a bit of a closer look, and that would mean at least scaling up the main part of the tree to kind of get a better look, because it's in amongst the leaves and the branches.
I'm going to climb up the tree.
All right. I will let you use acrobatics or athletics, depending on your.
Gonna scrape your knee.
Wait, did we roll? No, I was listening to the recording from last week, and it didn't look like we rolled the luck points after they woke up back at the.
That is true.
Yeah, and we'll do that once you've completed this escapade.
Cool. So that was 17.
That's fine. You get up and you see that there is actually a bird sitting in the pear tree, and it's a pigeon.
I mean, yeah, that's
Close enough.
yeah, close enough. I would like to speak with animals.
Yeah, go on. Do it.
I'm just going to say, hello, dear pigeon friend. How are you going?
Holy moly! Who are you? And why are you up here? In fact, how can I even talk to you? This has not happened before.
It's a long story, but I'm always interested to see what's going on from other vantage points.
Okay.
Noticed anything interesting happening around this train station of late?
Well, I tell you, there's increasing demand for the different, like, a bit of a turf war going on with the breadcrumbs. You know, this used to be the sweet spot just outside the main building, but just recently I've noticed there's a lot more of my colleagues trying to muscle in on my sweet little deal.
I'm sorry to hear that. That must be really, really stressful for you.
You just wouldn't believe. I mean, we don't live very long, and now I've got this stress to deal with as well.
I mean, do you have any friends around here, or are you just kind of on your own?
I used to think I had friends. You know, in confidence, I tell them about the breadcrumb situation, and suddenly I'm the one that's last in the queue now. It's all sorts of nonsense going on.
Well, I have a proposal for you.
Oh, do tell.
I'm stuck with a random assortment of odd fellows who, similar to you, I thought might be friends, might not be, and I could really use a companion. I happen to also have currency which I can exchange for as many breadcrumbs as you like. And someone of your disposition might come quite useful in helping me gain some information on my journeys. Would you be interested in joining me?
Well, I mean, I was always taught as an egg never to speak to strangers, but your proposal intrigues me. I mean, don't get me wrong, I could hop onto a train at any particular time because I can just fly there and sit on a train. But, you know, the prospect of breadcrumbs, well, I have to say that rather tickles my bill.
Yeah, well, you want to come along for the ride?
Yeah,
Keep
sure.
me company?
Yeah, no, good, do it. If you climb down, and I'll just join you on your shoulder.
Awesome. I don't have any breadcrumbs on me at the moment, but I'll make sure to go stop by one of the stores once I get down from this tree. And I mean, are breadcrumbs your food of choice? Is there something you'd prefer?
Well, I've only ever had breadcrumbs, really. At least I assume they're breadcrumbs, and nobody ever told me what they were. They just taste good.
Intriguing. Okay, well, I can get you some breadcrumbs, and let's see if there's something else we can find that's to your liking.
Yeah, let's do it. Teamwork. And it kind of extends a wing out.
Cool. Like
Cool.
elbow bump his wing to like a Corona fist bump, but it's with elbow.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so you can depart the tree now. So you do me the same role as you did last time.
Too bad he was never told never to accept breadcrumbs from strangers.
Yeah, although he was an egg at the time, so he didn't really pay much attention.
That's a 21 for descending from the tree.
Yeah,
What's the bet I'm going to roll really poorly in all
When
the
we
rolls
actually
that
need
matter
it,
for
yeah.
the rest of today?
Yeah. Now, you'll be surprised to know that I haven't actually written any of this as part of tonight's adventure. So I'm just making this
Surprise.
up. I know.
I mean, I had my fingers crossed for a partridge, but a pigeon's good enough.
A pigeon in a pear tree.
I love how Rosa was like judging the rest of the crew, like, this motley bunch that I'm with, as she talks to a pigeon.
And walks back in with a pigeon.
No class.
Y'all can't judge me, okay?
So you reach the bottom of the tree, and as you do so, you feel a light weight on your head as the pigeon decides to descend. Are you wearing a hat or something? Or?
Because you've got that big pile of hair on top of your head, it's probably making itself a nice nest.
Yeah, I do. Rosa has extremely bushy, like very curly hair. So
you now like an 18th century Pompadour wig. You now have a bird in it.
Love
Very
that.
fashionable. You'll start a trend.
What's the
Can I-
wizard from Lord of the Rings that has like the nest happening on top of his head?
Radagast.
Radagast the Brown, actually. That's
Or, or I prefer is that creepy guy from Labyrinth who's got the weird turkey thing on its head that gave me nightmares as a child.
Careful, before long you'll be like the pigeon lady from Home Alone 2.
Oh,
yeah. You say. I think we passed that point. Okay, so Rosa, you go back into the station. We're going to move the narrative on a bit.
You don't want to role play me talking to all of my animals for the whole 2 hours, no?
Yeah, she may be able to find a cockroach at the station.
Well, look, what we do in our own time with our own role play is between us, Rosa. Okay, it's now 9:15. You see people starting to move through the archway to the platforms.
I'll nudge Wookie awake. Time to get up.
I mumble something in there.
I lean a bit closer right by your ear and I just yell like, time to board the train.
So that was a perfect
I stretch and get up.
Using the word incoherent and describing the word incoherent at the same time. Nicely done. So presumably you're all going to head towards the train?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you mingle in with the rest of the crowd. There's no kind of jostling. It's not too bad. And you see the soldiers also kind of file in. There's 6 of them, so they kind of go in a little block of 6. And you go through to platform 1, and I will describe what you see. So you are, as you go through the archway, you're on platform 1. You're at the back end of the train. And so there's a caboose at the back where the guard and the brakeman reside. And then
I run to get a window seat, by the way.
you're not there yet. Shush, behave yourself. And so I'm going to go in ascending order to the front of the train. So you can make a note of this if you wish, because I don't intend to keep telling you what you have. So there's the caboose at the back. There then appears to be what would be a strong wagon. So it appears very robust, and you see guards and soldiers getting onto that one. So there's a guard wagon, and then there's the strong wagon, the one that appears to be very robust.
Caboose, that is...
Sorry?
The butt of the train.
Pardon?
Train's butt.
The butt of the train.
Okay, yep.
Then there appears to be a mail wagon, and the carriage, and you see railway staff hefting big sacks of presumably mail into that wagon. Then,
I heard that as mail wagon, as in that's where we keep the
men.
people with
It just means that carriage is mail.
male people.
Yep. Okay. Then we have a saloon wagon, and you look inside, and that you can see it's not open yet, but there's obviously a bar and seating and lighting. You then walk past 3 carriages that have got the symbol for third on the doors and the windows. You then have got 2 carriages which would interest you because they're second-class carriages, and so therefore most of you would be embarking on the second-class carriages. There is then 1 first-class carriage. Then you have a restaurant car, and then you have a coal tender, and then you have a locomotive. It's big, it's black, it's got a large chimney stack. It's a 464 wheel configuration, if you want some extra information. And there's steam gently wafting out from appropriate places, and there's smoke gently coming out the smokestack. So it's all
Train.
nice. There we go. So presumably Ikbo, Song, Carswell, and Wookie. There are 2 second-class wagons or carriages you can get on upon presentation of your tickets.
I suggest to everyone that we get on the carriage between first class and where first class ends. So we're closest to the first class.
The first second-class carriage.
Yes.
All right.
Yep.
Just so we're closer to Anais, and I'm assuming Rosa, you have also gone first class.
Anais is back at
Rosa.
the city.
Oh, she not.
Rosa's in first class.
Okay, so Song, Carswell, Wookie, and Igbo, you are asked to and Gregor, of course, is asked to present their tickets to the conductor, a rather splendid, thin-looking gentleman with a fine waxed moustache and a very nice uniform in kind of a royal blue colour. And you present your tickets. He scribbles on them with a crayon, and you can enter the carriage. As you do so, there's 24 seats in each carriage. Some of them have already been taken because you were 2/3 of the way back. Okay, that's fine. The seating is basically in clusters of 4, so 2 seats facing 2 seats, and they're back to back.
Like this?
Yeah, pretty much like that. Yeah.
Well, there's 4 of us, so let's take up 2 facing each other.
Yep, that
That's
seems
good.
reasonable. I'm just moving my. Sorry, ignore me. Yep, you can do that, and you get a cluster of 4, and there's a small wooden table in that gap as well. So yeah.
Sorry, sulking dog.
No, there's no soaking dogs in second class. They're in third class. And so you take your seats and presumably put all your luggage in the racks above your head and under the seats as well. Rosa, you present your ticket to the first class conductor.
Mhm.
And you enter the carriage, and what you have in first class is basically you will have. Let me just see if I can. They're basically like oldie-timey railway carriages, so they're in basically little cubicles, a bit like the Hogwarts Express.
Yeah, I was going to say like Hogwarts. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. And there's room for 4 in each, and you enter one of the cubicles, for the want of a better expression, and there's 2 other people in there with you. They nod politely, and you can take your seat. They look rather mystified you have a pigeon on your head, but as far as you know, you're just a rich eccentric at this moment in time. Okay.
I'm getting so like Murder on the Orient Express already.
It was all of us.
It was all of you, yeah. So 10 minutes later, the whistle blasts from the locomotive, and you feel a kind of a rocking as the locomotive starts to make way. And within the next few minutes, you pull out of Liberty City Central, and without pulling the map up, because I'm trying to avoid keep changing screens because that's a bit disruptive. In the next few minutes, you go past other buildings in Liberty City and past the docks as well, and also the branch line that goes off to the north, which would be to South Tiami. And within 20 minutes, you're going through countryside, although you wouldn't really tell that because it's dark outside. It's bright because of oil lamps in the carriages. The seating's comfortable enough, and it's relatively warm.
I'm going to say I've got the other window seat, so I'm sitting across from Wookie, and I'm just like gazing out the window.
Yep, that's fine.
We got moonlight. Like, is there a little bit of something to see, or it's?
No, there was rain earlier in the day, and it's pretty overcast. So because most of the light pollution is actually behind you, so there's not much. The clouds haven't been underlit by any particular power or light source.
Okay, well, if there's nothing to see, I have like leaned my head against the window and like kind of zoning out.
Yep, that's fine. You can certainly try. There is a family sitting in the cluster of seats behind you with 2 small children, and Rosa's had enough. And and yeah, there's a bit of noise and hoo-ha. Despite the best efforts of the parents, the kids are too excited to settle down, so a bit noisy.
I don't think this would affect Wookie greatly.
I reach up and pull the newspaper from my pack and turn to the rest of you. So there was a lot of soldiers at the station.
You did see soldiers, and embarking upon the train, you would also notice that a lot of them were heading towards the back end of the train, or staying around the back end of the train.
What's everyone's thoughts on the rising tensions between our countries? The countries, should I say?
Ikor tries to stay out of politics. It is not good for business.
Wookie, and I like nudge her with my foot.
Yeah.
What do you think of the rising tensions?
Why are we so tense?
All
I
the
didn't think we were
soldiers.
that tense.
All the soldiers. Why are the soldiers?
I don't know any soldiers.
Just shrug.
And by the way, I should probably
Politics is not her area.
Gregor's probably quite disappointed that he wasn't included in your four at the table.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I look over and I just pat him on the head. Gregor, what about you?
Seats.
He's kind of squished himself in between the seats and the tables, and he's
I
quite,
just imagine that the two children are playing on him.
he's certainly willing to engage in kind of play with the children. He's quite naturally inclined to do so. So he's sitting. He's not sitting with you or opposite you. He's sitting one row back opposite the family, and thinking that they're far more considerate than the rest of his party.
Carswell?
I'm just gonna say I'm not too concerned about what's going on with the soldiers.
What's
Are you
your
off?
background? You're a fighter.
Sorry?
You're a fighter. What's your background?
Outlander, is that what you mean?
Okay, Outlander. Yeah.
I tend to keep out of these things. You know, I just go where the money is, and I take on work as I'm needed, so I've no concern of these things.
Are you all from around here originally?
Yeah, I am from.
You're from Menlumaya. You're from the neighbouring country, I seem to recall.
Yeah, I am. Sorry. Yeah, I was only in Liberty City for a job which finished a long time ago, and I was planning to go back before I got this letter to see this professor. Yeah.
Yeah.
My family is up near the gem mines, but I don't know if they're in on this stuff.
Gem
Like they
mines.
trade, but I don't know. That's like for smart people.
And Ikor, how long have you been in Adysonia?
I have been here a few years now. I keep to myself. I do my business. Keep after my family.
That's
I
nice.
make my family.
That's okay, Carmon. So, song. There's probably one party member who would probably be more useful in terms of.
I'll just stand up and then go sit next to Gregor. Well, squish in next to him, should I say.
There's a space opposite him.
Oh, okay. Oh, because the kids are on him. Yeah, I'll sit down.
Because they were trading with gold for copper, correct?
Yes. And yeah, I'm just going to sit across from Gregor. Gregor,
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. And I kind of flourish the newspaper in my hand. And you can't read, is that right?
That is correct. Yes, I cannot read.
Would you like me to update you on the headlines?
Sure, you can read to me. That is fine.
Maybe we can. Are you interested in learning to read?
If Gregor has time, maybe. But I understand it is a complicated thing.
It can be. Have you noticed the amount of soldiers that were at the station?
Yes, there was a few soldiers. I counted 6 at least.
What are your thoughts on what's going on at the moment? Tensions between countries?
I have heard there is tension between Adysonia and Ruslan. That is cause for concern. Always cause for concern.
Is that where you're from, Gregor?
Yes, it's where I'm from.
And I'm not happy with the tensions. I'm not liking it. I just showed to the paper there. They refer to Conga. That's where I'm from.
Oh yes, I know. I hear of Tokonga.
Yes, they call us tree worshipping savages. If you look right here, it's great.
I see finger and words, but I do not understand it.
Well, I'll just.
Why you savages? Why they call savage?
They don't get our ways.
No,
they try and take more from the land than it can give.
That is not good, and same in Ruslan too. They take whatever they want. It is not good. But I think Adysonia do same too.
Yes. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And I'll just spend some time reading Gregor the couple of pages that I
You're gonna have your little Beauty and the Beast moment.
There they are. That's
the cat and the bear.
the bear.
Owl
Okay,
and the pussycat.
we're gonna leave that beautiful scene, and we're gonna head into first class, where you're being served a supper, which is some light pastries and some herbal tea.
Awesome. I'm gonna grab an extra pastry for my friend.
Yep, you can do that. Yeah, you can feed the bird.
Who else is in my carriage? What, you said there was 2 other people. What do they look like?
There is an elven woman, very beautiful looking. You would find it probably hard to put an age to her because she's elven. So, but very elegantly dressed. Kind of reminds you a bit of how Anais would dress. Yeah, and she sees you and smiles and doesn't appear to be too disturbed by the fact you've got feeding a bird that lives in your hair. And the other is a human gentleman. You notice when you first entered the area, the carriage, he wore a top hat, which is now stowed above him. And again, smartly dressed, literally smells of money. Yeah. That's your cabin. I want to refer to it as cabin now, so please remind me. So that's your cabin buddies.
Cool. I'm gonna say,
That's
so
it, buddies.
why are you on the road? I say as I feed pastry to my head pigeon.
And the human male kind of guffaws, and we never use that word nearly enough. You mean railroad, miss?
I turn to face the lady, and I'm saying, so what do you do? What brings you to the road today?
Oh, how rude! I thought we were having a conversation. Good Lord, golly golly! And he stops talking to you, and then the elven woman says, "Sorry, what was the question again?"
Just making small talk. Why are you traveling today?
Oh, to get to my destination.
Why did the chicken cross the road?
So much we have in common. Then I am also traveling to a destination.
Well, that's good. I think it'd be rather pointless if we were to be on a railroad train and not be going somewhere. Where are you going?
I'm kind of glad. Do our tickets say where we're going?
Well, you know that you're heading to Jamestown.
Cool. Going to Jamestown.
Oh, really? Just before we cross the border. So what business do you have in Jamestown, if I may be so bold?
My friend here is looking for some of their relatives.
So your
long story involving a train and grain and
I never realized
identity.
I never realized that pigeons had such complex social structures. So
many people don't. It's quite sad, really.
Well, and you're taking your pigeon to his or her family.
Yes.
Oh,
It fails to be a homing pigeon.
Yeah.
Don't bring up my pigeon's inadequacies, okay? They're sensitive.
It's okay. She's not there. She's metagaming.
Okay, the pigeon doesn't have a name either.
Well, apparently not, because nobody's had the courtesy to ask.
How
and
rude.
I'm not going to let Rosa ask now, because that would be metagaming too.
I actually had planned to ask before, but then you moved on, and I was like, yeah, I've just spent like 10 minutes talking to a pigeon. It's fair that we move the freak on from me at the moment.
You can roll persuasion if you like, Rosa.
It's all good.
Because I'm not buying what you're selling. So yeah, a member of the train staff comes and clears away the crockery after you've finished. He also turns the oil lamps down a bit, so it's a bit dimmer, and pulls down the roller drape in front of the window. It's very finely embroidered, by the way. It's very quality. It's high quality. The seats are very comfortable, and it's like worth every kind of mark that you didn't spend on the ticket.
Are the lamps dimmed in second class too?
Well, you can do that yourself if you want. Yeah.
Rosa's gonna pull her notebook out of her bag and start, writing while we travel.
Yep. And the elven woman says, "Oh, what are you writing?"
I just notes on
Ads.
nothing of anyone's interest, just personal things.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense. And she pulls out a book and starts writing herself.
And you?
Me? Oh, I'm just but a humble bard. I'm writing lyrics for a new song I'm working on.
Oh, a new song. I love music. Would you care to play for me?
No, I wouldn't, because it's very late at night and I would disturb everyone else, and I don't think that's very fair.
I mean, we pay these premium prices for these tickets for a reason.
Well, we pay these premium prices to be courteous and classy, and playing loud music at this time of night would not be either.
Well, I mean, you are the musician here, so I will bow to your better judgment.
Yes, I think we'll exercise caution. Maybe tomorrow.
I would love to hear your music when you've finished and these people are more receptive to being entertained.
Well, I think you've already upset the gentleman next door, and you can see that he's fallen asleep. I think it's probably not a good idea to keep, upsetting him. Otherwise you'll kick down to second class, and nobody wants to be in second class.
Why would I care what that fellow has to say?
Well,
You see the size of his head. People don't wear hats that large if they're of a decent quality. Basically a peacock preening away.
I can just imagine. It just feels like, oh yeah, he's actually the guy who runs the company now.
yeah, my brain is whirring. But so it's like, I'm. Forgive my boldness, but I don't think you've probably travelled in first class very often.
I usually have more entertaining ways of getting to where I'm going, but this seems to be the current choice of my companion, so I'm stuck here for now.
Oh, okay. And she goes back to writing, but in her mind she's thinking that when you talk about your companions, you're just clearly talking about the pigeon, and you're a little bit.
The pigeon demanded to ride first class.
Yeah, and why wouldn't it? So, okay, I'm going to go back.
I'm willing to go far for my friends.
I'm going to go back to second.
I have one.
I'm dozing off.
Yeah, dozing off.
I'm like splayed on like the window and the back of the chair, like.
There's not. Yeah, I was going to say there's not really much room to splay, even for a dwarf. I mean, a seat is a seat. It's a bit like the ones.
Oh no! Like I've got my arm across the back of the seat.
I don't think you would.
And then my other arm across the windowsill.
No.
No.
Because,
like this.
Because a seat in a locomotive, a bit like Stuart's background, has a built-in incorporated headrest as well, which is made for. And don't take this insensitively, but normal-sized people, not dwarves. And so therefore, you'd have to be really kind of reaching up to, to put your hand on top of it. So yeah, I don't think you'd be doing that.
Well, one way or the other, I'm like sleeping nonchalantly.
Yep. So a Wookie is trying to fall
At the
asleep.
window.
Carswell, what are you doing?
I'm certainly not sleeping. I'm just kind of laying back in the chair and just observing everyone that's seated in. I'm just keeping an eye for anyone that may be suspicious or maybe someone I recognise.
All right, roll me perception.
Okay, I must be like half asleep because I just rolled a 2. So I'm
Yeah. I don't know what you're looking for, but you don't find anything.
All right, cool.
Song of the River.
Yeah, I'm dozing. Before I do though, I will. I'll just lean against the little headrest and try and get some sleep.
Okay, are you still sitting opposite Gregor?
Yes.
Okay, cool. He has a friend. Nice. Gregor will roll perception. I mean, he's not actively looking in the way that Carswell so miserably failed at. But he does notice, and just before you drop off song, he kind of nudges you, or he gently places his hand on top of yours. He says, "Oh, look, in corner, another tabaxi," and he points. He indicates in the rough direction, which he's facing, but it would be to your back. There is a tabaxi there.
I'll do it. The casual. Just to see.
Someone would just be like, don't look now.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't look at man there. And you see a tabaxi. It's quite chocolatey brown fur, but really nice clothes. I mean, he's wearing like a satin vest, and he's got a white shirt with the shoestring tie, and he's also wearing a nice jacket as well. And he's hung it up on a hook, but he was wearing a hat as well. And he's got a gold watch in his vest.
Is there a vacant seat near him?
Yeah, there is. There's he appears to be the only one in that cluster of 4.
I'm going to shake off my sleep drowsiness. Just get up and sit across from him. Hello.
And he looks at you, and he kind of nods slightly and says, "Greetings, sister."
Indeed.
Which you would know is a term of recognition as opposed to being genetically related to you.
Yes, of course.
Also, roll me perception with advantage.
Perception. 15 or natural 20. 24.
Okay, so just from those few words he spoke, you notice that whilst he's tabaxi, he's not from Takonga. He has definitely got a Bydanian accent. So he's from next door to you guys. And so you would know that they're the tabaxi that are probably the most industrialized. They're not like you guys at all in the sense that they you certainly use their resources, and Bydania is quite industrial. Similar enough.
Where would you be traveling today? Your end destination?
My end destination? Well, I'm heading towards Maya City. You been there before?
No, I don't believe I have. Business?
Wow. Maybe business, maybe pleasure. Maybe both. You?
Indeed.
Where you going?
Jamestown, I believe.
Jamestown. What
Yes.
takes a pretty young thing like you there?
Business, definitely not pleasure.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Otherwise, I wouldn't be on this thing.
You not traveled on a locomotive before?
Not a huge fan of it.
No. I can tell from your accent you're from Takonga, so I can guess. Yeah, riding on a steam train filled with guzzling coal and burning it and creating smoke and soot. Yeah, probably not really your ideal choice.
Surely there's easier ways to power this thing. A little better, less draining on the environment.
I do know there are some trains that they don't use coal to power it. They just simply chop down trees and stick them in there and burn them up real good.
It's another way of doing it. At least trees grow back rather quickly.
Yeah, and when you cut the really big ones down, they last much longer.
Actually, a preferred method.
So you said you was on business. May I ask, ma'am, what business you're on?
Not quite sure, actually. It's some strange things that I don't quite understand, but hoping to figure out on this journey.
And that's fine. And as you say that, you see him kind of look down. He says, you're not traveling alone, I see.
No, it's my gang, my crew. Yeah.
So there's a bear, and there's a man. And there's a kind of a leathery bat thing. Did I see a dwarf? Yeah.
You did. Isn't she graceful?
Graceful or grossful? I'm a bit confused.
I just smushed up the window.
A bit of drool.
I don't know if I should go that far, but she's definitely not doing the elegant thing.
Yeah. So he leans back in and he offers you his hand.
I I take his hand.
And he shakes it. Well, it's
Mhm.
a great pleasure to meet you. My name's Gleaming Blade Edge, but you can call me Egbert.
Song of the River song, but why Edward?
Egbert.
Egbert. Why Egbert?
Egbert. It means gleaming edge of sword.
Okay.
It's easier. You know, when I travel, it's easier for people just to use one single name than, as you would know. I prefer not to be called Gleaming or Edge or Sword. So Egbert is just a translation.
How about Putty Cat?
It speaks
Don't mind him.
it's common.
Hmm.
May,
Very modern of you.
yeah. So maybe I can get you a drink. Maybe you join me in a drink.
Sure.
And you see at the end, because you're in the basically the 4 cubicle that's at the end of the carriage, and he just presses a bell, or he presses a
Pulls
button.
the bell string.
Yeah, don't confuse it with the emergency brake pull. And a few moments later, a waiter comes through and says, "Oh, good evening, sir, madam," and he orders a scotch, and he says, "What can I get for you?"
Tea.
Oh, surely something a bit stronger for the lady. Let's try and make this unpleasant train experience a bit more pleasurable for you. What would you like?
Oh, perhaps, I don't know if they would have the drink. What drink would it be from Takonga?
Probably rum.
Rum. Yes, perfect.
Yeah, you order a rum. It's not a Takongan rum, but it's pretty decent. It's a dark rum. It's okay.
Close enough.
And he offers you his glass to clink it, and presumably you do. You think so?
Cheers.
Good health, Song of the River. And
to you, Egbert.
Okay, so we'll leave that little pastiche right there.
I smell liquor on the air.
No, you're asleep. You're asleep. Carswell, you're no, I'm not going to do you just yet. But Ikor, I'll come to you. What are you doing?
So
Eavesdropping, apparently.
Yeah, apparently so.
Ikor is always listening to everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm.
But he's going to sort of like lean up against the window where Song was and put his feet on the couch, sort of leaning back against the window.
Yep.
And he's going to talk to Carswell.
Okay, cool.
And he's just going to ask Carswell, so you seem very money orientated, good sir.
Certainly, money's good to move up in the world, and that's definitely an incentive.
My question to you is, if a higher price came along, what would you do in our situation? If you were helping us, but someone offered you more to help them, where would your allegiances lie?
Good question. I'm not sure, actually. You all seem like a fairly good bunch, and through you guys, things have worked out quite well. So I think for the moment, I would probably stick with you guys, even if the offer was greater.
Igbo's just going to ponder this in the back of his mind a few times, and throughout the rest of the journey, he's just going to keep this in the back of his mind, not sure if he should trust Carswell or not in the aspect that he's too money orientated, so to speak.
Fair enough.
But I will suggest we do have money ourselves if someone else did try and buy you out, as it were.
Sorry, say that again.
So I do have money myself if someone was to try and turn you over, as it were.
Are you saying you would offer me something more than they would?
Perhaps, perhaps not, depending on the situation. But I would prefer you to stay on our side.
For the moment, I will, and I will keep that in mind. Thank you.
Then I'm going to sort of poke my head over the edge of the chair and just see what Song and Eggman are doing.
So you'd see the back of Song's head, but you'd see Egbert.
Sort of just be like the...
Yeah. Egbert sees that and just kind of rolls his eyes and ignores you, basically.
Yeah, and then I just get back down and put my back against the wall again.
Cool. And okay, so one quick journey to Rosa.
Yes.
So is there anything else you'd like to do before retiring for the evening?
Not that I can think of.
Okay, that's fine. That's a good enough answer.
How secure are the places where our stuff's kept in the first class?
It's you've got your luggage with you, and it's in the same cubicle as you are.
Does it have like an overhead compartment?
Yeah, it's not a compartment. It's an overhead rack, so you can see your bags.
Okay, cool. I'm going to touch them and kind of meld my bags to the actual rack so that they're not going to be easy to get into.
How do you do that?
You said I would be able to use mending to just join two things together.
Yes, I did. Yep, that's
So
fine.
just kind of joining the cloth, and the clasps I've got for the bag are like metal, so I'm just going to melt them into like a solid bit of metal, just so it's not easy for someone to get into my stuff.
Yep, okay, that's fine. Yeah. And so
While I'm sleeping against the window, I like mumble things intermittently in my sleep, like 3 bags full, traitor. No, I don't want to go to the playground. I want to stay here.
okay.
And then
Yep.
continue.
You can do that. So the train rumbles on through the darkness and through the night. The train is not due to reach its first stop, which is Zircon City, until about 9 o'clock the next morning. Presumably, you will wish to take a rest during the night.
Yes, I will tell Egbert that thank you for the drink, and I'm going to retire for the evening, as it were, and I'm going to grab my bag out of the overhead and kind of prop it up across from Gregor, prop it up against the seat, and put my scarf on top and make a bit of a pillow.
And you would notice that Egbert goes into the corner between the end of the carriage and the window, and he takes his hat off the hook and just kind of stretches out along 2 seats and puts his hat over his face, and pretty much like that, exactly like that. And you notice it's the more of a broad-brimmed Western style kind of hat. So.
The cowboy cat.
Yes, it is. So the train rumbles on through the night. You all get your long rest, so you get your spell slots back. You get any hit points that you may need. Dawn is about 5:30. The sky starts to lighten about 5. So I'm just trying to think. It's Wookie. You're pretty much a heavy sleeper. I think we've established that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So
Like, I'm just thinking, it's like someone who has spent a lot of time out in the wilderness.
Yep.
I don't know if she would be like too heavy a sleeper because she would have to react to like trouble.
Yep. So all right.
But she could, if she senses danger, she would react to it. But she could probably sleep through, you know, kids and stuff. Like if she feels at ease, she'll sleep through most anything.
Cool. So the only danger that you sense is the rising sun in the east. So the light starts to, as the sun rises.
The sun she is not afraid of. She will sleep late into the day.
Okay. So yeah, the sun has started to rise, and so who will awaken at this stage?
I'll probably be awake, ready to meditate in the morning.
Okay.
It was 8 o'clock would wake him up.
Yep. Okay.
I'll be awake too.
Yeah, Gregor's not awake. And Rosa, now Rosa, you've got the blinds are down for you, so it wouldn't necessarily get the first rays of the morning sun.
Does my pigeon pal wake up?
Yeah, he needs to.
Chewing or anything?
Yeah, he
Probably pooped in your hair.
No, he starts tapping your head because he really needs to poop, and he doesn't really want to do it inside the carriage.
Okay. I will wake up, and I'm assuming there's like walkways between the carriages, like from first to second. Is there like
Yes.
the little path bits?
Yes,
Cool.
they're not like modern trains though. It's basically a door at the end of each carriage, and there's a small little way that you just step across. There's a guardrail.
But like it's open to the sky and stuff.
It is, yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna go check on my companions down in their second class dwellings and let my pigeon friend use the bathroom. I'm also going to politely ask my pigeon friend what they'd like to be called.
Okay, so before you do that, I want you to, as you step between first class and second class, I want you to roll perception for me.
Okay. Rolly. That is a 26 perception.
Okay, so as you're stepping through between first and second class, you are convinced you see a glint or a glimmer towards what would be the south. So the sun's coming up, and you detect like a glint or a glimmer, like of something small but moving, but a great distance away. And then you continue on into the carriage.
Okay. I'm gonna, as
I just imagine you holding out this pigeon, like, so that it can do its business, and just all the feathers on one side of the pigeon like goes splaying to one side from the wind of the carriage moving past.
So what happens is, as soon as you get outside, he takes a flight. So he stretches his wings and just flies off. He's more than capable of keeping up with the speed of a steam locomotive. And you know, in the 2 or 3 minutes that he's gone, that's when you kind of notice the glimmer in the distance. And then he flies back to you, says, "Thank you. My name's Pugsley," and nestles back in your hair again.
Pugsley pigeon.
You okay with me calling you Pugs?
My name's Pugsley. I think I did just say that.
But you prefer the full version of your name?
It's the only version that I want. Yeah.
Okay. Just because in our human culture, we tend to give nicknames to people who we're close to. But if you're not comfortable with that, that's perfectly understandable.
I understand in your society you do things in a bit more of a savage kind of way, but in pigeon society we are given a name, and that's our name.
Okay. So well, in that case, my nickname is Rosa, but my full name is Rosalind, so you can use whichever you prefer.
I'll call you Rosa, because you know you're human.
And I'm going to just politely ask, I noticed that there's a glint over there. It's drawn my curiosity. Is there any chance you'd be willing to take a look for me?
Sure, why not? Why not? I need a bit of a stretch of my wings. I've lightened the load somewhat, if you excuse the rather coarse expression. And yeah, he flies off to the south.
Brilliant. I'm just gonna, before he goes, I'm just gonna tell him that I will just be in this carriage, so feel free to tap on the window when you're ready for me to come up, and I'll let you in. Yeah,
he's already flying, and he's just thinking as he's flying. It's like, I get the tapping on the window, but what does she expect me to hold on to as I'm doing that? but that's a problem for another scene. So you enter the second class carriage, and you see your crew basically in different seats.
I'm cross-legged doing my morning meditation.
Yep. Gregor has woken up and seems to be again like playing with his big paws with the two small children. When I say playing, I don't mean he's like mauling them or anything. It's like, yeah, it's just like doing finger puppet kind of things with his big furry hands. And you see a gathering of Wookie, Carswell, and Ikor in a cluster of 4. Now, Wookie, you're by the window, and Ikor, you're by the window, aren't you? Yep. Wookie, you're still kind of asleepish.
Yeah, I'm dozing, but now that I would start to get a view, I would probably like start sleepily waking up. I will completely wake up to the smell of breakfast, though. Okay,
that's not yet. If you want breakfast, you would need to travel to a different carriage, but I'll come to that in just a moment. So you're by the window, so you can do me a perception.
While we're on the topic, do we get a new D12 of luck?
Yes, so everyone do me your D12 plus. D12 plus 2, because you've been sleeping on a train. So you didn't get the best night's
Perception is a 9.
9, okay, so nothing particularly catches your fancy.
Can I roll with disadvantage? Seeing as I'm like
Perception.
Not paying super attention, but am kind of looking out the window.
Yeah, you can roll with. So I want you to do your luck roll first.
Yeah, I thought you meant,
7.
can I roll my luck at disadvantage? I was like, what?
No. I rolled my luck, which is 7.
Yep. Okay.
And I'll roll
Now, hold on a minute.
deception with disadvantage for looking out the window.
Not yet. I just need to get everyone's luck. I just want to know everyone's luck first.
I got 9 for luck.
Carswell?
11 total. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, it's on.
Are we not adding 6 to it? We're adding 2, are we?
No, I've added 2 because you've just had you've been sleeping seated upright in a train, so it's not a good. It's not a really good night's sleep.
Okay, that's cool. In that case, I've got 4 total.
Okay, 4. Yeah, and Igbo?
9.
9. Okay, cool. DM wins that round. And yes, Wookie, you now can roll perception with disadvantage.
Ooh. Ooh. Huh. A 2 and a 3.
All
I
right.
noticed nothing.
Well, do you know what? Because I'm really kind as a DM tonight, I let you take the 3. You don't see.
I notice that there's glass against my face as I doze.
Yeah, you notice actually as you breathe out that there's slight condensation. You notice that, but not really anything outside.
Come on, Wookie,
It
draw a
means
picture.
you're alive if your breath is fogging out the windows. So
I
at
could
least
just
someone
draw
alive.
a little love heart. Condensation.
Aww. So Rosa, what do? You've just entered. You see people are stirring and breathing on the window, and
I'm just gonna kind of go. So where's Song of the River sitting?
she's
That's
sitting
from
in
Gregor.
yeah, opposite Gregor.
Is there a spare seat next to her?
Yes.
I do have my legs crossed at the moment,
Yeah,
though.
she's
So.
being a bit of a chair hog at the moment.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I like you, so I'm gonna come up and be like, "Do you mind if I sit down?"
Oh, I'm done anyway, so I'll just put my legs down and shuffle across.
Yeah.
Thanks.
How was
Anything
first
special?
class?
Stuck with the kind of people you'd expect in first class.
Snobs!
He kind of looks
Snobs.
at you and nods. And she's like, "There was a bard up there, but they refused to play because they didn't want to wake everyone up. Rather boring lot. I'd much rather be outside on horseback, enjoying the..."
and Gregor says, "Oh, it sounds remarkably restrained for a bard. I'm surprised that they didn't go carousing."
Yes, well, apparently no one knows how to have fun in this place. Was your evening more eventful?
I had a drink with Egbert, and I just point over to the tabaxi. That's about it.
It seems like he belongs up in first class. What's he doing down here?
I don't know. He's on his way to was it Wait, where was he going?
To Maya City in Menlo.
Maya City. Yeah.
As you're talking, you notice that he gets up and puts his hat on and straightens his jacket and everything, and then proceeds to leave your second class carriage and presumably head into the next second class carriage and shuts the door behind him.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
What about the rest of you? Had done anything interesting yesterday evening?
I was asleep.
I learned Carswell's going to sell us out.
Well, do you blame him?
Yes.
Okay, it's canon now. That's what he said. So why you sell out, Carswell? And Gregor turns around and looks at you.
I never said I would sell out. I said I'm quite content with you lot. It seems to be worth my while financially to stick with you guys.
Oh,
Yes, if there is a better offer, but at the moment I'm certainly not going to.
And Gregor turns back round and looks at Rosa and Song and goes, he's not impressed with that answer. Yeah.
I turn to Rosa. Where's the bird?
He's helping me out. There was some weird glint out there. Looks like it was following the train. I thought we should probably make sure it wasn't anything that was going to, come and cause chaos. God forbid something made this trip a little bit more interesting.
That glint is the sun.
Well, I can see why someone of your intellect might be confused between the two. I can assure you it was something other than the sun.
I'm pretty sure it was the sun.
And as you say that, there's a rather remarkable scene where outside the train there appears to be a pigeon, and he's flapping his wings really desperately, and every so often he just goes like that to the window, and he's looking, he's like that, and
There he is.
because there's nowhere for him to perch and tap on the window.
Is there a window?
I'm going to kind of gesture to like land on the roof, and I'm going to go out to try and collect my pal.
They're just windows that we could open for it.
So they're panes of glass, but there's a small little part at the top that you can just put down. But
Is it a
not,
pigeon-sized gap?
no, that would be way too convenient, wouldn't it?
Couldn't have convenience in this campaign.
Exactly.
I will go out to the gap between and collect Pugsley.
Yep, and he rolls to make an expert landing in your wig, your hair. Yeah, he does fine, and he kind of lands, and he's a bit out of breath. Oh, it's a long way. I don't think I want to keep banging my head on glass. Oh.
I apologize. I admit I didn't think that through. I still need some caffeine this morning.
No.
You okay?
No. Well, kind of yes. I'll be fine. I just need some breadcrumbs.
Okay. Well, I managed to swipe the half of my pastry from last night in my
Oh,
Pocket pastry.
I searched through my like 70 pockets, like Hagrid with Harry's birthday cakes. Like
in a moment.
It's in here somewhere.
In a moment of profound Deus Ex Machina. Oh, you luckily just have the crumbs. Still, that's good. And you feed the pigeon. The pigeon is mightily relieved. Pugsy enjoys that. Yeah, nice.
And I will go back into the second class carriage with Pugsley and the crumbs.
And he confides in you. It's like, it's not as nice in here, is it?
Yeah.
It smells of poor people.
I'm sorry. Are we saying speak with animals is canonically permanent now?
For the fun of the DM, he's making it at least permanent until the pigeon gets killed.
Okay.
No.
Until
Pugsley.
I'm sure Pugsy will be fine. You know.
Look, just because I send you vaguely threatening gifts all day does not mean you can kill off my pigeon pals.
I can.
I would just like to point out that as a DM, I've got a really bad record at letting NPCs go. Anyway, so to answer Ikbo's question, or Stuart's question, I should say, is that for the moment, I will allow it. It doesn't mean that Rosa will be forever.
Become her familiar.
No, it won't be her familiar.
I'm assuming that none of us can hear the pigeon.
You can hear cooing.
Okay.
Okay,
cool.
if we're making it that if we're bending the rules that it's sort of I can still speak to. I think it would be hilarious if we made it that I can only speak out loud in that manner.
Yeah.
I don't want to burn a spell slot to speak with Pugsley.
Yeah,
I have to say it out loud.
And I don't envisage too many lengthy dialogues between a pigeon and a main playing character.
You
Now-
have a Carmon.
I know, right? Who would do that?
Sorry, are you speaking common or are you just going like through him the whole time?
Hand's discretion.
Um,
How
Common.
crazy does she seem?
Seems crazy because she's speaking common. So.
To a pigeon.
Yeah.
Yes, cool.
I have roused and am now playing with the children who are playing with Gregor.
So you'd have to get out of your seat and move into the aisleway to do that because you're actually back to back with the family.
Oh yeah, like I climb over people. I yeah.
Cool.
You said that forgive me, I lost his name. That got the other Sabaxian that left.
Yes.
Yeah.
He went to the.
I'm not sure you ever knew his name, but
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, not knowing his name, but knowing that, well, in my perception, he looked a little out of place.
no, he rolled really bad with perception, so you wouldn't have known.
Okay, fair enough.
How much the river
Well,
was,
he could be out of place then, for all you know.
I
how much the river was just telling me his name and about him. So if you're within earshot, you would have heard her telling me that.
I've seen his perception rolls. I don't think that would help.
Okay, well, dismissing that idea, can I casually just walk back through the other 3 carriages?
Sure, you can. So you get up and you walk down, and you're gonna go from the first second-class carriage to the second-class carriage. That's
Yep.
not confusing. So as you leave the door and you step, there's chains either side of the, to stop idiots falling off the train. And you're about to open the door, and the door actually opens, and the aforementioned tabaxi is actually heading from that carriage back out towards where you were.
Okay.
And it sort of tips his hat, and he says, "Oh, after you."
I'm just going to move aside, say good morning, and proceed.
Okay, and he lets you walk past, and he goes back in to take his seat where in the carriage that you were just coming from. You go into the other carriage, and there's about, let's say, 16 people in there. Again, all manner of different. There's men, women, children. There's wolfkin. There's elves. There's halflings. There's a bit of everything.
Okay. So obviously no one that I sort of recognise.
No.
All right. Well, I'm gonna then move to the next carriage.
Okay, so you're going into third class now. You go into third class, and you notice that instead of the nice tables and chairs that you had, there's basically just benches along the sides of the carriages, and there's a lot more people in there. It's a bit more rough and ready, and you smell poor people basically.
Okay.
Poorer people.
All right. Well, I'm just gonna. So the saloon wagon is obviously bar.
Like a bar, yeah. So you've got to go through. I think, yeah, you've got to go through.
Restaurant.
You're in the first of the third class carriages, and you've got 2 more to go, and then you get to the saloon.
Okay. Well, I'm just going to continue through the third class carriages, pretty much just casually observing who's in there, and just seeing if I notice anyone interesting that we may have come across.
Okay, so you walk through. You don't really recognise anyone that you would have come across before. It's third class. There's a lot of people there, and they're all sitting down. They're talking. Some people are singing songs and like playing accordions, and they seem to be having a lot more fun than the rich people. Let's put it that way.
They always do, apparently.
And you notice a lot of them they've got like paper bags, and they're getting rolls out and bits of cheese, and they've taken their own food with them. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to then move into the saloon wagon.
Okay. Oh, by the way, are you carrying at the moment?
Am I carrying?
Weapon.
Yeah,
No, I left my bag up top above everyone else.
I'll say your weapons in the second class carriage.
Yeah, apart from my knuckle duster, which I kind of keep in my pocket.
Okay, I'm just for no reason at all going to write this down. Interesting.
Yeah, I've got this big rifle slung on my back. Yeah.
Someone give me a boost. I want to touch his gun.
So you go through into the saloon wagon. It's just like a bar. There's a bar down one side. There's stools there. There's a couple of small tables, but the space is limited. The bar takes up half of it.
Is anyone in the bar?
Well, there's you. There's a barkeep, and yeah, there's some soldiers there. It doesn't appear to be any other passengers, but there's 4 soldiers there, Edisonian soldiers, which for Rosa's benefit are your soldiers. There we go.
Look, I'm tired.
Okay, so yeah, you're in the saloon. What are you gonna do? Anything? Nothing? Something?
No, I'm just observing. Basically, I want to get an idea who's on the train, anyone interesting. So if there's no one interested in this saloon, then I will make way back to the second class, I guess.
Yep. And you head back out the saloon, and the barkeeper says, "Oh, bye then." And we'll have you working your way back up the train, and that's you for now.
I'm just gonna say, Wookie, food.
Yeah. It's like that was already my plan. I've got 2 stops planned on the train. The first one is breakfast.
Okay, cool. So to do that, you'd go through the first class carriage and then into the restaurant car.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not included in your ticket price, by the way. That's extra.
Before
That's all
these
good.
guys walk off, I'm going to start asking, now that Pugsley has had a chance to catch his breath and refuel, what he saw. I don't know whether you guys are going to walk off while I'm talking, but I'm asking the pigeon out loud what he saw.
Okay, so that's a good. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to remove Song and Wookie from this just for a couple of minutes. I'm going to put in waiting room, and I'm going to.
And Phil, don't forget that I have a plan after breakfast.
I've already forgotten it. So and Jezza's not there either, so he's going to go there. Okay, so Ikor, you stayed there, and Rosa, you're there. So you speak to the pigeon, and the pigeon says, "Oh, so I took a fly out where you suggested, and yeah, you're right. There is people out there. There's some riders. I counted about 6 riders on horses."
What did they look like?
What did who look like?
It's some riders following the train. Were they catching up on us, Pugsley?
No, they're not so much following as they're just kind of keeping up with the train, but at a distance. They're riding alongside, but a long way from here.
Did you notice anything about them? Were they wearing any particular colours or anything?
No, they kind of looked like they're from this area. So what did I see? There's now, let me think. I'm just going to roll to see how much I can remember. Oh, hold on.
Pugsley pulls a dice out from under his wing.
Yeah, he rolled a natural 20 too. So he says, well, look, there's they've all got horses. There's a human, there's an elf, there's a dwarf. The dwarf looked a bit funny, but I can't put my wing on why. There is a couple of tabaxis, and there's one of those things kind of local around here, kind of like the coyote kin. They're kind of like coyote people. We're one of those.
Ah, fascinating. Oh, you're such a good scout. Thank you so much for the information. I really appreciate it.
But what did he see? I don't speak pigeon.
I'm going to pass on what Pugsley just told me. And I'm just going to ask, were they armed? Did you see any weapons?
Yeah, they've got guns, and the coyote had a bow over his shoulder. Yeah, they look like they're armed.
That doesn't bode well for us. I guess we should probably let the others know, especially if they're following the train. All these guards. What do you think, Ikor?
I agree. Maybe we should let the guards know at the rear of the train as well, just in case something goes down.
Okay. I'm the
So
pigeon,
just
so, you know,
so
I'm not really. I don't have
the food. GM, please. May I speak to the GM?
It's amazing. Once you get your mind in the mind of a pigeon, it's really hard to leave.
Bread.
Pretty much, bread and crapping on cars. So what would you like to know from the GM? Okay,
so that right?
Sorry, say again.
Did everybody go up to the food cart?
Song did, and Wookie did, and Jezza's on his way back. So what
right, because he went to the saloon and he's on his way back.
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring them back in now because we've done that a little bit.
Okay.
Cool. So
I might just suggest to Ikor that I'll go warn the guards if you want to let the others know.
Yep, I'll head up to the restaurant.
Yep,
and I'll head back in the opposite direction, so through the third class towards the.
Yeah, so you'll probably bump into Carswell on the way back.
The guards.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So I'll bump into Carswell and I'll be like, there's some riders following the train a while back. They're all armed, and there was it 7 of them? Is that right, Phil? 6 or 7? 6. Yeah,
What's
6.
following us, sorry?
6 riders, fairly heavily armed, following behind the train.
What are they riding?
Horses.
Oh, okay.
Raptors.
Yeah.
Velociraptors. That's terrible.
Quite a collection of fellows, but can't bode well for us. So figured we'd go warn the guards. Ikor's gone up to let the others know. And from my limited knowledge of train heists, I don't think we all want to be on separate carts.
I'm pretty sure that Rosa has 0 knowledge of train heists, as you so put it. Let's be
fair enough.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm going to then say to Rosa, look, I'm going to head back to the saloon bar. There was a few guards back there. I'll meet you back
I had some rapport going there.
Yeah.
Pardon?
I'll come.
I
I'll
was
come
saying-
with you so
I
that.
was saying Carswell got some rapport with the guards that he met in the saloon.
Yeah, as he looks at them and then turns around and goes out again. It's technically rapport. It's just not very good rapport.
Well,
No.
we won't say it's poor rapport.
Poor rapport.
Yeah.
Yes. I would give you an inspiration for that, but I'm not going to.
I will go with you in case they need any more details.
Okay, fair enough. So we'll make our way. So are we in the third class or second class at this point?
You're
Where
in
would
you're in the middle of the third class cars.
Okay, cool. Then I'll turn the Rosa and say we'll head up to the saloon then.
All right. We will go off in that direction.
And I'm presumably Ikbo will relate the same kind of details to Song of the River and Wookie as well.
Yes, but I do want to make a quick detour when I'm in the first class carriage.
Yep, go on then.
So I'm going to look for Rosa's belongings to see where it's the cabin that she was staying in.
Yep, so roll me perception.
15.
Yeah, so you think you recognise her bags as you walk past her compartment.
So inside, would I see the elf that she was referring to?
Yeah, the elf's there, and there's another gentleman there as well.
Yeah, so I'm going to knock on the cabin door and slide it open, or if it's a walk in, just knock on the side.
Yep. Okay. And the human doesn't really say very much, but the young or the elfin woman says, "Oh, a kobold! How extraordinarily exotic for this train. Are you part of the entertainment?"
I give a bow and say, "Unfortunately, not fair maiden. I am not one of the most of the entertaining people there is around."
It's bold of you to assume that I'm a maiden, you cheeky thing. I am a bard after all.
Which was one of the reasons I was coming to see you.
Yes.
Um,
How can I help?
A companion of mine is in this carriage, I believe, asked for a performance last night.
Oh yeah, yes, okay, yes, the one with the pigeon in her hair.
Yes, the interesting one, as it were.
The special one.
Yes.
Yeah.
It would be a great honour for her to receive a musical ballad from you, if that would be okay.
Okay, I have to say there seems to be a lot of pressure for a performance for this one person. Is it? I mean, maybe later. I mean, I've only just kind of woken up myself, and it's time for breakfast soon.
Yeah, in your own time, of course.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm sure I can pull something together. I'll get my banjo out.
Thank you very much.
No, you're welcome. Enjoy. I'll see you around.
I'll do a polite nod and head off to the restaurant.
Yep. And you arrive at the restaurant car, and it's well lit. There are plenty of tables with white tablecloths and silver service. There are waiters in there, and there's already some diners in the dining car.
Is there a fruit bowl around? I just want to grab an apple.
No, this isn't an open buffet. It's a dining car. Goodness.
What kind of chairs are in there?
Wooden chairs.
Okay, cool. So I would have ordered the big breakfast, assuming that there is one, and then I'm swinging like a kid on like the back of my chair, like.
Awesome. Roll me dexterity with disadvantage because you're in a moving train.
Okay. So I've rolled a 1 and a 6.
I'm going to take the 1 on this one. I'm not that kind. As you're rocking back, you kind of obviously reach a point where you would have tipped, and then the train lurches a little bit as well. So you go, and as you reach out to try and stop yourself, you also pull the tablecloth down from the table that's behind you.
I was going to say, I thought you meant our table, and I was like, well, there goes my fruit salad.
And the elderly couple that was sitting eating their breakfast looked rather disappointed. As you grab the tablecloth, you pull it off, but you do actually leave all the silver service and crockery on the table. It's amazing. Well done.
The trick, Wookie.
I pull the like sheet from like the tablecloth from over my face and go as if I'd just done a magic trick, and then get up and like
confused, and they go. And
then I throw the tablecloth over my seat and sit down.
and then the waiter promptly says, "Can you stand up, please? That needs to go back on the table."
I get up dejected, like, and let him take it.
Yeah, and the waiter gives you a rather sour glare, and then says, well, he says to the elderly couple, "Come, we'll put you on another table. We do apologise for this." And the elderly couple sort of walk over their new table, and they sort of the elderly gentleman gives another backward glance at us.
So would we have had time to place a food order and start eating?
Well, you've placed your food order, yes. As you sit down to eat, everything kind of lurches, and the brakes have been slammed on the train, and it judders to an absolute halt. Lots of crockery and tables and chairs all tip over, and you kind of grab on, and the train appears to have stopped.
So if I'm in the cart, I'm in the dining cart now.
You are, yes.
I'm going to talk to Song and Wookie and say, Rosa's pigeon saw people on horses approaching the cart. I think they mean hostile intentions.
You got this from a pigeon?
The dumb one did.
They had angry looks in their faces.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got this from a pigeon.
So
My
it would be
experience with pigeons
for some sort of combat
aren't too helpful, but all right, sure.
Okay.
Well, let's get on top of the carriage for a better view. And I head towards the opening to open the door and try and climb on top of the carriage.
Sure.
I give her a boost.
If I look out the window, can I see if any of the riders at all?
I'm going to come to you in a moment. I'm going to deal with Song first. You don't need a boost because there is actually a small ladder that goes up.
Well, yeah.
I give her a boost anyway.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it, Wookie. Thank you.
Okay, so you reach
Shopping.
the top of the restaurant carriage. I want you to roll me Constitution saving throw.
Oh, jeez.
Mm.
Ooh, Constitution saving throw. 20, natural 20, 23.
Okay. You don't take any damage, but you do get a face full of, obviously, coal smoke because you're only quite close to the locomotive. Although it stopped, it's still belching out smoke. But you managed to close your eyes and mouth before it affects you.
And I hate it anyway.
However, you can give me a perception check with advantage because you're on top of the carriage.
Perception. Oh, I hope I get one better than that. 10 or a 16.
Well, it wasn't a natural 20. You do surprise me. Okay, so you see that the train has stopped, and you can see the railroad in front of you, and there appears to be. So as you've been travelling, as you've travelled further west, you've reached more hilly kind of ground, and you're just about to go through a cutting through one of the hills, and there appears to be a rock slide in front of you.
Oh. So that's why the train is stopped then.
Presumably.
And I look behind us. Is that where the horse people were coming from?
You don't see anything behind you, and I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to go to Ikor, who's looking out the window. Okay, you can roll perception with advantage.
I got a 1 and I got a 16, which is a 23 total.
Yeah. Okay. So you now see out the southern window, you do see riders on horses, and they're definitely galloping towards you and getting closer. Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to tell Wookie to go back to the carriage. Actually,
Which carriage?
my stuff's back in the other carriage as well, so I'm going to go and say we should probably go back and see the others and get ready.
I poke my head over and say, there's a rock slide ahead. That's why we've stopped.
There's people coming, which you should be able to see from up there.
That's probably why there's a rock slide.
Do you have your staff?
I don't have a staff.
Nobody's carrying a staff as far as I've been aware in the narrative.
Oh, I thought you had one with your pack.
No, my pack is back down there though, so I have my
Are you coming back down to get it?
Yeah, I'll come back down and get it.
In a minute when the DM says so.
Yes.
Wow, look
Next
at Stuart
steps.
running the game now.
I'll just go back to my chocolate.
Yeah, you can bet your chocolate there. So Wookie, do you intend to do as Ikor asked and head back down the train?
I look disappointed about not getting breakfast, but yeah.
As you start to walk the door that leads from first class back into second class, a gentleman appears. He's a human, probably in his 50s. He wears a top hat and he's very well dressed. He looks a bit confused, but he's standing in the doorway, and you notice in his right hand he has a revolver, and he's pointing it in your general direction, and he says the words, I don't want any trouble. You need to all sit down.
I can sit down in first class.
No, you sit down here.
Am I in first class or second class at the moment?
You're still in the dining carriage.
Oh, I thought we were in between the dining carriage and first class.
No, you didn't get that far because he come through the door before you got there.
Okay. Can I wear your top hat first?
Sit down. Don't make me have to hurt anyone. Just sit down.
I sit down and cross my legs and just kind of look at him for a moment. I'm assuming that Ikor is still about.
Yeah, he's behind you, technically speaking. So I'm going to leave you guys there.
Dun, dun, dun.
Rosa and Carswell, when the train stopped, what were you doing? What was your intention?
Well, we were
making our way.
We were heading towards the booze carriage. The moment the train stops, I'm going to reach out for the walls to steady myself.
Oh, great. I'm glad you've mentioned that. You can do me a dexterity saving throw now, then. I wasn't going to get you to do it, but seeing as you've attempted to steady yourself, I have to now.
Is Rosa doing one as well?
Well, she has to now, yeah. Look what you made me do.
I'm helping.
No, this is on Carswell, to be honest.
How long did we make it before the train stopped? On our way to the guards.
So yeah, you were travelling through a third class carriage, so that's pretty open. Yeah.
I rolled an 8.
Okay, that's interesting.
I got a 17.
Okay, Rosa's okay. You managed to grab hold of somebody as the train grinds to a halt. Yeah. Oh, really? Okay. Jezza, you grab at nothing but fresh air, and you fall over and crack your side on one of the wooden benches and take 4 points of damage.
Okay then.
So what we know about our fighter so far is he mostly takes damage from inanimate objects. Benches,
well, after that happens, I'm going to really quickly scurry back up, and I am going to hightail it back to our carriage.
Okay, yeah. So Rosa, are you going to be doing the same thing? You see Carswell take off back the way you came?
Sorry, Rosa.
I'm going to let the guards know. I don't really trust the rest of these guys to handle it.
I love it when
honest.
split 4 ways. So Rosa, you can go through to the saloon carriage.
Yeah.
You see the bartender, but you don't see anybody else in there.
Just gonna be, there was guards in here, I was informed. Do you know where they've gone?
Yeah, they went back that way, and he points to the way, not your direction, the way that they came in, towards the back of the train.
Yeah, cool. I assume we would have crossed over them otherwise. So after that is the mail wagon. Is that right?
Well, let me just look here. Yes, there is a mail wagon behind you, yes.
Okay, I will go through to the mail wagon. I am looking for the guards.
He just shrugs.
We're in the saloon.
You leave the saloon carriage and you get to the mail wagon and the door's locked.
What's it made out of?
It's a wooden door, but it's steel framed.
Okay. I am going to use heat metal on the door to heat the, I guess, like the frames or the lock or something, and I'm going to kick it open.
Okay, roll me a d20.
My intention there is to weaken the integrity of the metal and the wood adjacent to the metal, and then
I don't doubt that at all.
just a flat d20.
Yep, just a flat d20. Or I'll tell you what, you can do a strength check because you're kicking the door. So
Yeah, that will be 17.
okay, so I'm going to describe to you what happens. So you reach the locked door through which the guards disappeared. You then heat the metal, which weakens the wood. You kick it for a 17, which breaks the wood. As you do so, you start to open the door, and you are shot by one of the guards that's inside, who's expecting an attack, apparently. Don't know why.
That seems.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep rolling until I hit you. Hold on. I rolled, in 3 rolls, I rolled 2 1s and an 8, but I'm not going to keep those because...
Can they just shoot each other? Actually, no, we want the guards to help us.
So you're going to take 2d4 damage.
I'm glad they're not working.
While they're shooting me,
No,
can I yell out?
No,
Isn't this a wound?
no. Because at the moment, basically, this all happens
Not to not get shot, but like as I'm being shot, not to stop them from doing it. But can I say something or?
So as you take 7 hit points of damage, you can say whatever you like.
Ow.
Cool.
What do you say? Cool. Cool. Do it again.
I'm just gonna be like, I'm just like, don't shoot me, you idiots. We're under attack.
Okay. 2 guards rush out and try to grapple you, and they will do a strength opposing check. They both rolled a 17. So you can roll.
Probably.
You can roll with disadvantage a strength opposing check for me.
That's a 4.
That doesn't sound like it's going to work. Okay, so very quickly because you got shot, you fell to the floor, 2 guards jumped on you, and you've been rolled over and you've been handcuffed. And
Lovely.
You've been dragged into. The good news is you're now in the mail carriage because you've been dragged there. And I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to you.
Yeah, no, sorry. How much damage did I take? With
7.
Yeah.
7. Cool.
Just make me thankful you're not dead.
Yeah, I know.
Could have been she could have got 3 wounds just then, which is like dead, right?
So what I've decided for this next little kind of pastiche is that I'm going to suspend my normal rules of gunfight because if you haven't already figured this out, this is kind of a bit Wild Westy where there's going to be people shooting. So it's already bad enough for Rosa anyway without necessarily killing her. So I'm going to go now to Carswell, who's running through the train. You get to the just before you leave the 3rd class carriage into the 2nd class. You see in front of you Egbert, the tabaxi, and he has a revolver in each hand. And he looks you in the eye and he says, "Okay, partner, I just need you to take a seat there and cool right down."
Oh, I knew he was bad news.
Yeah, with a hat like that, man, there's no good that comes with someone with a hat that big.
Does Gregor know this is all happening?
Yeah, that's a good point. He's probably still seated where he was seated before.
Then I'm gonna. So I'm in I'm in 3rd class, but not in the carriage where I need to be in.
No,
where am I?
No, you haven't got through to go into your 2nd class carriage, or even you've got 2 more carriages. So to get to your stuff, you need to finish the 3rd class carriage where you've now been apprehended, then go through another 2nd class carriage, and then into your carriage.
Okay, cool. Well, in that case, I am going to slowly stop, and I am going to slowly back up to one of the seats and sit down.
Yep, and he nods at you and says, "Good choice." and I'm going to leave you there. Gregor hasn't really noticed much apart from the fact that the train stops, but as far as he's concerned, that's probably not unusual. He doesn't notice you. So Ikbo and Wookie, you're in the dining car and you're being held at gunpoint by the old geezer. And Song of the River.
I have something to do. I'm not just at gunpoint.
Right, I'm going to come back to you.
So I'm
going to come back to you. So
Cool.
Song of the River, you can come down off the roof if you wish, or you can stay where you are.
So he's standing in the doorway. I can see him pointing a gun at those two.
Okay, so you come down the ladder?
No, I haven't come down, so I'm still standing on top of the carriage.
Yeah.
But this was all taking place in between them, yeah?
No, so you would have seen the old geezer going through from the carriage into the dining car.
Mm-hmm.
But the rest is a bit of a mystery at the moment.
How far is, because I think it would look really cool, how far is the gap between the carriages? I'm on top of a train. I've got to jump between the carriages.
Well, in most movies, they do make it.
They do, yeah.
That's fine. You can do me. So what's your best, athletics or acrobatics?
Acrobatics, I imagine.
Yeah, acrobatics.
So you can do me an acrobatics check to jump.
6.
Roll
well.
6.
6. You try and you don't, but I will not. So you basically try to jump to the other roof, but you fail, and you basically just end up jumping in. You'll take 1 point of damage as you kind of slam into the carriage door.
You probably make a decent amount of noise as you hit the railing between the two carts.
So now I'm standing between the dining cart and first class.
Yeah.
And the guy. So I'm behind the guy.
Well, you're kind of facing the wrong way, but yes, you are behind the guy. Oh, and I should just point out, you've probably also been seen by the gunmen, seeing as you were playing around on top of the train.
So I gave Song a boost. So am I between?
No.
Into first class.
No, because I said that no boost was required because there's a ladder that leads up to the roof.
Yeah, but I did it. I said I did it anyway.
Yeah, and I said no because you didn't do it. So I did say this at the very outset. Yeah.
I'm behind the gunman. Can I cast heat metal on him?
Sure. If you can see him, you can cast heat metal.
I was going to say, does he get distracted at all by someone landing behind him?
No, apparently not.
So yes, I will choose the gun and hopefully heat that so he drops it.
Okay, so how many points of damage does he take?
2d8 fire damage.
Oh, tell me how much damage he takes then.
2d8. Hang on. There it goes. Whoo, 15 damage.
Okay, so he drops. Yes, the gun drops, but technically he does as well, and as his sleeves catch fire. Now, I want. So you've started this song, so you're going to finish it now. I want you to roll me. You're going to roll me your d20 6 times.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to explain what you're going to do because he was holding a revolver which has bullets in.
Bullets explode.
And you're heating them up. So you're basically going to do a death saving roll on each bullet. So anything under a 10 will be one of the rounds will go off.
Alrighty. I will just roll them all at once. Let's see. Oh. I have a 10, 16, 17, 12, 5, and 16.
Okay, so one of them goes off. And who have I got? So Wookie's there, and Ikbo's there.
I'm just gonna throw Wookie under the bus because she was the one getting pointed at with the gun.
Well, in my mind, I was under Song, but whatever.
Yeah, but in fairness to the DM, I did explain at the time you explained it that no, that did not happen. So
She ran to the other carriage, so you're not.
We role played it out for sure.
All right, I'm sure he won't miss now either. So the bullet goes off, and it misses, so you don't take any damage.
Does that mean his gun's just exploded? Because it's not like the revolver would have gone around.
Are you questioning?
Oh well, I guess the one,
No, I'm wondering
the one
if
in the
the guns-
chamber went out, and then the rest of them just like
Exploded.
internally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what? I take that back. You're absolutely right, because the revolver wouldn't go. So what I'm going to do is have his gun explode instead. So, Wookie, you need to do a
Shrapnel.
saving throw, please.
Oh,
Yep. A death saving throw.
No, deck saving throw, yeah.
My dex.
heat metal is going so well right now. Burning sandwiches,
11.
exploding guns.
How many is Wookie?
11.
Okay, you take 3 points of damage.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of just go, oops.
And I'd also get Song, Wookie, and Ikbo to do me a Constitution saving throw, please.
God, this dice cannot roll anything above a 9.
9.
12.
9, 12, and
14.
14. So Wookie and Song, you are now both deafened.
Mm-hmm.
Lovely.
Yeah. So that was a successful round of using heat metal. Nice.
Mm.
And also I will just point out that the gunman is now dead as well, because you did him for all that damage, and plus the fact he had a gun explode in his body as well. So
I hope that was a bad guy.
He's a chunky
That
mess.
looks so gnarly.
Igbo's going to basically run up to him, kick the gun away from him, and then just check his pulse and stuff to make sure he is.
Okay, you can't really kick the gun away because it's exploded.
Okay.
You can use the
Kick
dust
his
cannon
bloody wound.
and he is definitely
Probably lost an arm to like gun shrapnel.
he's definitely dead.
Yeah.
There's sauce all over the carpet, basically.
Yeah.
Again, my reaction is, oops.
I'll be like, Song, don't worry about this. Let's go back and get our stuff.
What?
Okay, so I'm just going to recap. Rosa has been shot twice, and she's in manacles in the mail carriage. Carswell is now seated and is being apprehended. Song is deaf and presumably just killed someone. Wookie is not deaf. No,
I'm deaf.
Yeah, sorry. Wookie is deaf and only slightly injured. Ikbo is not injured and not deafened. And we're going to leave it there for tonight. And we will pick this up next week. So what I'm going to do next week with the extra players that come back is I'll have them doing a slight little side quest in the city, because they can't suddenly rush to your aid. So all in all, that's not how I expected it to go, because you've got all those kind of deafness and you've been restrained and you're at gunpoint, and we've still got the gunman to deal with as well. So it's something to look forward to next week. So for everyone watching, I'd like to thank you for joining us for episode 5. I hope you join us next week for episode 6. My name's Phil. I'm the Games Master and occasionally also another player that does something. I'd like to thank you for everyone that's watched on YouTube and on Facebook. And I'm going to go around in order for everyone else to say goodbye, because I didn't do that last time, and I'm really sorry. So, Ikbo.
Stuart here, signing off as the Kobold Rogue of the group. Thanks for everyone for watching. I do choose backgrounds on the Distant Grey page, so please make sure you vote on the next one. This one is obviously the train carriage. There'll be a new set of 3 for next weekend.
Yep,
or next week, sorry.
And I'm strongly tipping that one of them will be a morgue. Anyway, so thank you, Stuart. Over to Sheena.
Okay, see you from Wookie and her wonderful giant cloak.
Excellent. And we go to Alyce.
Yep, thank you very much. That was fun. I am going to probably refrain from using heat metal on guns pointed at people now. Thank you.
Thank you. And to Jezza.
Thanks all for tonight. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, Distant Grey Dungeons and Dragons.
Absolutely. And finally, we go to Carmon.
Hi, goodbye from Rosa the Pigeon Whisperer.
So thanks, and we'll see you all next week. Catch you later.
Bye.